Your cat spots the neighbor's golden retriever through the window. The dog weighs 40 kilos. Your cat weighs 4. The dog bounds closer, tail wagging. Your cat doesn't run. She doesn't hide. The tabby opens her mouth, flattens her ears, and delivers a single sharp hiss. The dog stops dead, backs up, looks away. Your 9-pound house cat just controlled a predator 10 times her size without landing a single blow. We call it a hiss, but what your cat is actually doing is weaponizing a psychological exploit that's been working for millions of years. The sound is a broadband hiss that shares some acoustic features with many snake hisses, and some authors have speculated about evolutionary mimicry, although this has not been directly demonstrated in cats. The posture and sound together tap into threat assessment systems in mammalian brains, including dog brains, which evaluate sudden intense sensory cues for potential danger. Your cat isn't trying to fight, she's trying to avoid one, because fighting is the last thing a solitary hunter can afford. Domestic cats inherited this behavior from their wild ancestor, Felis lybica, the African wildcat. These animals survive alone in harsh environments where a single injury can mean starvation or death. Evolution favored cats who could make themselves look and sound dangerous enough that potential threats would simply choose easier targets. The hiss is a pre-fight negotiation. Most of the time, it works. When your cat hisses, she's producing a burst of high-frequency, noise-like sound produced by a rapid expulsion of air with the mouth open. Acoustic descriptions of cat hissing report energy concentrated mostly between about 1 and 5 kHz, sometimes extending higher, with a sharp, turbulent quality. Snake defensive hisses are also broadband, with energy spanning from a few hundred up to many thousands of hertz, so there is partial overlap in their acoustic profiles. This kind of resemblance is one example of what biologists call Bayesian mimicry, and some researchers have documented acoustic Bayesian mimicry in snakes themselves. Snakes have been predators and competitors in mammalian ecosystems for over 60 million years. Experiments show that primates and some other mammals can rapidly detect or learn fear of snakes, and naive individuals may show heightened responses to snake-related cues, but this evidence is strongest for primates and rodents and is more limited or mixed for domestic dogs. Your cat doesn't need venom. She just needs to sound like she might have it. The dog's brain doesn't stop to analyze whether the threat is real. The auditory cortex and amygdala process the sound, flag it as danger, and trigger an avoidance response before conscious thought catches up. The hiss doesn't work alone. Watch your cat closely the next time she does it. Her ears rotate backward and flatten against her skull, eliminating the rounded silhouette that signals friendliness. Her pupils dilate to maximize visual information. She may arch her back, piloerect her fur through tiny erector pili muscles at each hair follicle, and turn sideways to the threat, making herself look larger. Some cats bare their teeth. Every element reinforces the same message: I am dangerous, unpredictable, and not worth the risk. Dogs, with their pack-hunting ancestry, are wired to assess cost-benefit before engaging. A hissing cat presents high cost for low benefit. Potential injury to eyes, nose, or paws weighs against minimal reward. Cats are small, bony, and quick. The math doesn't add up, so the dog disengages. Dogs are descendants of gray wolves, cooperative pack hunters who take down prey much larger than themselves. But cooperation requires healthy pack members. A wolf with a shredded nose or infected eye scratch becomes a liability. Over thousands of generations, canids evolved to be excellent at judging whether a fight is worth the risk. When a dog encounters a hissing cat, several brain systems activate simultaneously. The superior colliculus in the midbrain processes the visual threat display. Flattened ears, arched back. The auditory cortex flags the hiss. The amygdala, a cluster of nuclei deep in the temporal lobe, integrates these signals and triggers a fear response. Cortisol and adrenaline flood the bloodstream. The dog's heart rate spikes. But here's the critical part. The dog doesn't know the cat is bluffing. Cats are fast sprinters, capable of running around 20 to 30 miles per hour in short bursts, and experimental work on paw-shaking reflexes shows that their paws can reach extremely high accelerations during rapid movements. A single strike to the cornea can cause permanent damage, and even a small wound can become infected. The dog's ancestors who ignored hissing, spitting, clawing animals didn't pass on as many genes as the ones who thought twice. Genetic and archaeological evidence suggests domestic dogs have been evolving alongside humans for at least 15 to 20,000 years. during which selection has favored individuals especially sensitive to human social cues and communicative signals. Studies comparing similarly raised dogs and wolves show that young dogs are generally quicker than young wolves to use human pointing and gaze cues to find food. Your dog doesn't need personal experience with an angry cat to know what a hiss means. The response is partly innate, inherited wariness of snake-like sounds and threat displays. Part of it is learned through cultural transmission from mother, littermates, or previous encounters. Even a puppy meeting a cat for the first time will usually pause at a hiss. The signal crosses species boundaries because it taps into ancient, shared survival wiring. Your cat's wild ancestor, Felis lybica, lives alone across North Africa and the Middle East. These cats don't have a pack to help hunt if they're injured. They don't have grooming partners to clean wounds. A torn pad, a broken claw, or an infected bite can mean the difference between catching prey and starving. Field observations of African wildcats and related small wild felids indicate that they are largely solitary and tend to rely on distance-increasing displays, such as hissing, growling, and posturing, to avoid direct conflict when they meet at territory boundaries, with physical fights appearing to be relatively rare compared with visual and vocal displays. The goal is usually to make the other cat leave without either animal risking injury. Domestic cats inherited this entire behavioral toolkit. Your house cat may have a bowl of kibble and a warm bed, but her brain still runs on the same risk assessment software that kept her ancestors alive in the desert. Fighting is a last resort, deployed only when escape is impossible and the threat is immediate. Think of the hiss as the first line in a scripted negotiation. The cat is offering the dog a chance to walk away with dignity intact. If the dog ignores the hiss, the cat escalates. A louder hiss, a growl, a paw swipe with claws sheathed, a warning strike. Each escalation says, "I'm giving you another chance to reconsider." Most dogs take the first or second offer. They've learned, either through direct experience or instinct, that the cost of ignoring a hissing cat is higher than the reward of whatever they were trying to do. Sniff the cat, play, chase. The interaction ends without physical contact, which is exactly what the cat wanted. Occasionally, the hiss doesn't work. Puppies with no prior cat experience, dogs with high prey drive, or dogs who've been punished for backing down may ignore the warning. When that happens, the cat switches strategies instantly. She runs if she can, climbs if possible, or if cornered, fights with everything she has. Claws out, teeth bared, aiming for eyes and nose. The fight is vicious and brief. The dog usually learns not to ignore the hiss next time. Your cat isn't consciously thinking, "I will mimic a snake to frighten this dog." The hiss is an innate behavior, hardwired into her brainstem and limbic system. When the cat perceives a threat she can't escape, the autonomic nervous system triggers the response automatically. Flatten ears, arch back, hiss. But the behavior persists because it works. Cats who hissed effectively had more opportunities to hunt, rest, and reproduce without injury. Over thousands of generations, natural selection fine-tuned the display until it became the efficient threat signal we see today. What's striking is how well this ancient system translates to modern multi-species households. Your cat has never seen a venomous snake. Your dog has never hunted in a pack. Yet when they face off in your living room, a communication system millions of years old still works perfectly. The cat says, "Dangerous, stay back." The dog's brain says, "Understood, not worth it." Both animals walk away unharmed. The next time your cat hisses at the dog, you're watching a masterclass in evolutionary psychology. She's not being mean. She's not overreacting. She's doing exactly what millions of years of evolution designed her to do, protecting herself without fighting, using sound and posture to control an animal 10 times her size. The hiss is proof that in the animal kingdom, the best warriors are often the ones who never have to fight at all.